To those of you who have never seen one of my videos before, I'm AmazzonKane. I'm a writer. I'm obsessed with Angela Anaconda. I do rewatch videos, among other things, and my ultimate goal is to run an official reboot of the series. You can even see what that would look like on my channel, as I organized a small team to revamp the theme song. A lot of times when I review Angela Anaconda episodes, I'll say something like, "Oh, that's a really great idea, but I wish the execution was different, I wish they expanded on this, or I wish it was taken in a different direction." Well, what I thought I'd do this week is to show you my take on that. This is a rewrite of an existing episode done with the intent of introducing a new audience to Angela Anaconda. So essentially, what would an episode be like if I wrote it? Which I did. I'm going to be doing a read-through and I'm going to be voicing the characters, badly, mostly, and I welcome you along for the ride. Here is You're Still So Vain, based on the episode You're So Vain. Interior classroom day. Angela Anaconda, a brunette, freckle-faced, imaginative, and perpetually frustrated child, taps her pencil at her desk. Her teacher, Mrs. Brinks, an aging attention whore who never grew out of her immature teen years, writes on the whiteboard. "That's my teacher, Mrs. Brinks. She's not nice, she gets me in trouble a lot, and she seems to be mad most of the time. But she says there's one thing that she has that other teachers don't." Mrs. Brinks turns around and raises her fist in the air dramatically. "Tenure!" Angela perks up and drops her pencil on her desk. 10 years I've been doing this assignment. Tonight, I want you to write a poem about someone you admire, someone special, someone who makes a difference in your life. Perhaps it could be even someone in this very room." Josephine Praline, a devoutly religious girl, raises her hand. "Can we do religious figures? Or does that violate the separation of church and state?" "You may do religious figures. Perhaps there's even someone in your own life you find saintly." She preens her hair. The class stares blankly. Her face falls. Angela turns to her friends, Gina Lash, a soft-spoken sparkle enthusiast, Gordy Reinhardt, a shy asthmatic boy with a heart bigger than his skinny body can fit, and Johnny Abadi, an impulsive ditz with a rough-around-the-edges brand of kindness. "I know who I'm not writing about." She points to her archenemy Nanette Manoir, a francophile with the face of a porcelain angel and the passive-aggressive soul of Satan, who raises her hand. "Yes, Nanette, dear? Since you wanted us to pick someone special, can we write about ourselves?" Angela rolls her eyes, opens her mouth and points inside it as if she's about to puke. Miss Brinks pauses. "Of course you can! What excellent self-confidence!" "Thank you, Mrs. Brinks. It's inspiration for the future. One day, someone's gonna write a song about me." Clothes on Angela, head resting in her hand, staring off into space, grinning mischievously. Cut 2. Interior revenge fantasy. Original theme song. Shibbidi-bidi-wah-wah, my name is Angela, and you are not, you're not there, the stuck-up jerk-faced man. Exterior sidewalk day. Angela, Gina, Johnny, and Gordy walk home. Angela twirls a pencil in her hand. Gina twiddles the straps of her backpack. Johnny runs his hand along a fence, and Gordy takes a puff of his inhaler. "Why do you think she's in a bad mood all the time?" "Maybe it's because she has to wear clothes. I heard she and her husband are weekend nudists." "Are you going to write about naked Mrs. Brinks in the poem you're writing, Johnny Abadi?" Johnny scrunches up his face. "Ha, no way. I'm going to write about Uncle Nicky." Fade 2. Flashback. Johnny Abadi's house. Day. Uncle Nicky, a handsome but tacky man-child trying just a little too hard, is at the gym. He can bench press. Reveal to Uncle Nicky bench pressing an actual bench. He's always thinking of ways to make money. Uncle Nicky adjusts his suit jacket, sitting at a desk like a stockbroker. Zoom out to reveal Uncle Nicky printing counterfeit money. End of flashback. Exterior sidewalk day. And best of all, he still likes being a kid. It's like he never grew up. That's because he never did grow up. I'm going to write about Sparkly Jangles, who runs the Tapwater Springs History Museum. Flashback, Tapwater Springs History Museum. A hand places Swarovski crystals on the vanity plate of an old steam train. If she knows about it, she's bedazzled it. Gordy puts the inhaler in his backpack. "Well, I'm going to write about my dad. What about you, Angela? Are you going to write about your Grandma Lou?" "She did make headlines in Florida again. But I want something specially special. I'm going to write about King." The others pause. "You can't write about your dog, Angela." Angela hops on a slightly elevated stone ledge and balances on it. Sure I can, Gina Lash. Mrs. Brinks said to write about someone you admire, but she never said it had to be a person. Interior, Angela's living room, night. Angela's brothers, Mark and Derek, wrestle each other through the room. Mom paints with one hand, sculpts with the other. Dad holds baby Lulu, her little sister, while reading a book. Angela, by herself, holds her notebook and pencil, studying King, a little terrier, who rolls around on the carpet. I'm going to list all the special things that make you special, girl. King wiggles around. Angela writes it down. Let's see. You're always happy. You're free. You got fuzzy feet. She vigorously writes. King turns around to face her. Angela reaches down to pet her. You have really soft fur. You run fast. You're nice to everyone. You let us dress you up. King pants happily. You don't have to do chores or homework. King looks up at Angela, smiling adoringly. The only one who will never judge her in this big crazy world. Angela nuzzles her with her face. You're perfect, King. I can't think of anything wrong with you. King starts licking her own butt. Well, except that. Yuck. Interior classroom day. Johnny Body places his poem on Mrs. Brinks' desk and takes a seat. That was interesting, Mr. Body, and highly inappropriate. I'll take it. Now I know it's hard to follow Nanette's excellent poem, but who would like to go next? Nanette shoots Angela a shit-eating grin. Angela grimaces at her, but raises her hand eagerly. Me. No need for extraneous noise, Miss Anaconda. You may present. Angela stands up and holds her paper in front of her. She glances at Nanette. I just want to say that some of us do have someone special to talk about. No dilly-dallying! Angela clears her throat. You're not perfect, but I'd never have guessed. You bark, but I know that you're doing your best. Mrs. Brinks cocks her head. You're loving, you're free, you're as kind as can be. You're kind to the family, you're kind to me. It's this kind of thing that makes you so pretty. Mrs. Brinks puts a hand to her chest. You're pretty with your cold, wet nose. You're pretty with or without clothes. Mrs. Brinks puts her hand to her chest and wipes a tear away. Being around you's what I'll never forget. That's why, in truth, I'm really your pet. Mrs. Brinks blows her nose. Oh, Miss Anaconda, I really needed to hear that right now. Angela sits back down. What? Your poem about me. Oh, well, actually, Mrs. Brinks, it was about the purity of human kindness. I'm giving you an A+ and want to submit it to the National Children's Poetry Competition for the whole country to see. We'll take a few minutes from recess to fill out the paperwork. Huh? Nanette crumples up her paper in scorn. What? Exterior playground day. Angela, Johnny, and Gina swing on the swing set. Gordy pushes Gina like a gentleman. I thought I'd never get out here. I thought you didn't like Mrs. Brinks, Angela. I don't. And I thought you said you were writing about your dog. I did. Maybe I should have included the part about licking her own butt. Nah, Mrs. Brinks probably does that too. Are you going to tell her? No way, Gordy Reinhardt. It'd be academic suicide. Nanette walks up to them. Wow, Angela Anaconda, writing about Mrs. Brinks? I could have done that, but I didn't want to be a grand oeuf, which is French for, you totally just did that for attention. Oh, it's not what you think, Nanette. That poem was about Angela's dog. Johnny, no! Oh, really? Well, isn't that interesting? Interior classroom day. The class settles down in their seats. Nanette raises her hand. I was reading your lovely poem throughout recess, Angela, and just submitted the paperwork. Now, you have a question, Nanette? More like a comment. I'd like you to be properly informed that Angela Anaconda tricked you, seeing as she really wrote about her dog. Mrs. Brinks gasps. The class laughs. What? I can't believe she deceived you like that. Miss Anaconda, is this true? I'm sorry, Mrs. Brinks. I tried to tell you. There's even a picture of my dog on the bottom. Mrs. Brinks' face gets redder like an old-fashioned thermometer reaching its boiling point. The class laughs harder. That wasn't a metaphor! Silence! I've never been so gaslighted in my life! Miss Anaconda, you're gonna sit outside this classroom and write an apology letter! For what? For lying in class! Angela walks to the door. Miss Brinks slaps a pencil and paper in her hand. Guess your poem wasn't as good as you thought, Angela. Exterior, Mrs. Brinks' classroom, day. Angela, at a desk completely covered in pen scribbles, prison-esque tally marks, bad Sonic fan art, and a pair of googly eyes, sits writing on a sad single sheet of loose-leaf paper. So, Mrs. Brinks wants a poem, does she? Well, how about some slam poetry? Interior revenge fantasy day. A chalkboard reads, Angela Anaconda's Coffee House Slam Poetry. Angela stands in front of a microphone at a cozy coffee house with dim Christmas lights, a roaring fireplace, and a stone shelf of first edition books. She leans into the microphone. You wanted a poem, that much is true. Now here, Mrs. Brinks, is what I think of you. Mrs. Brinks sits in the audience. You're mean and you're awful, you're always a pain. Get stuffed in a toilet and flushed down the drain. It's revealed that Miss Brinks is now sitting on a giant toilet. It flushes her down. A pipe spits her into a sewage pond where she belongs. You're not a good teacher, you yell and you're rudish. We heard the rumors that you are a nudist. Josephine Praline clutches a pearl necklace and gasps. Angela turns to Nanette, sitting in the audience. And you ninny poo, so fake and so phony. You don't know your face from the back of a pony! A horse that mysteriously appeared kicks Nanette so hard that she goes flying. You think you're so special believing your lies. You're not a princess, you're Lord of the Flies! Nanette ends up in the same sewage pile as Mrs. Brinks, surrounded by a swarm of flies. They swat at them. The sewage drops them back into the coffee house. Niminy Piminy, who gets on my case, I take the slam poem and hit you in the face. Angela puts her paper on her hand like a glove, reaches her arm out, and smack! Exterior Mrs. Brinks' classroom day. Angela lifts up her page, now covered with the ink of righteous, passionate fury, laughs, then pauses, looks it over, and smiles in approval. The door opens and Annette sticks her head out. Mrs. Brinks wants to know if you're très fini, which is French for, are you done yet? Angela looks at Nanette standing next to her. Actually, Nanette Memoir, my long apology was so long. I need more paper to finish. Fine, I'll get you more. It'll be a lot better than your poem. She turns. Angela pats her on the back. Well, Nanette, that may be true, but here as they say, here's looking at you. Angela pats her on the back. The googly eyes stick to Nanette's vest as she walks away. Fade out. End of episode. Thank you guys for paying attention. See you later when you see me.